Hello and welcome back to the Spotlight Games podcast for episode 150. Today we are celebrating a milestone, my babies. Today we are building a PlayStation hero shooter that won't fail within 3 weeks. And joining me for this journey, my sweet dumpster boy, Cayman Darty. Cayman, how you doing?
Patrick, I've started the year 2025 off with an absolute fucking riot of a month.
Yeah? Tell me about it.
Yeah. You want to hear some dumpster boy statistics, Patrick, about just how fucking unhinged this start of the year 2025 has been.
Oh boy, do I.
I am on pace right now to platinum a game every 2 days.
Still?
As of this recording today, I currently have 11 platinums.
Because when we recorded last week, you at that point had whatever it was to give you one every 2 days. And I'm shocked that pace is keeping.
Correct. We are, as of recording, January 21st. Technically, I'm one day ahead of schedule.
Okay, wow. So I'm never catching up.
Maury, the look in Maury's eyes, which also joining us for the show, my gamble we're taking Maury, he is shaking in his boots right now.
Yeah, because last year I made a bet with Cayman and I said I'll outpace you by the end of the year, and I'm being trounced, Patrick.
And he took that personally.
Right.
Yes.
Let me trounce you. Let me trounce you guys in a different way too. Not only have I sustained an 11 game platinum streak, I'm currently at movie 47 on the year.
What?
How does that work?
I don't know.
He's got a battle station in his office. He has 3 TVs, one with each TV, and then one is playing NFL Red Zone.
Oh my god.
Boys, I have no fucking idea, but what I can tell you is I'm pretty sure it's causing the issues I've got.
Sure. I mean, we need a doctor to weigh in on this and see. But we have a lot of video game stuff to talk about because this is the Spotlight Games podcast where each week we spotlight the latest and the greatest in the world of video games. You can get it by subscribing to our YouTube channel at Spotlight Games Pod or by searching for Spotlight Games in your favorite podcast app. And hey, you can be on the show by tuning in as we record live Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern time on twitch.tv/Spotlight Games Pod, just like McLean with it 2014 is. Liz, welcome back. Cognitive Clipses and Mr. the Human Plays all are. So follow us like they do on Twitch so that you're notified when we go live so you can be part of the conversation. Spotlight Game Stream, I keep saying that they're back and in full swing, except I've not streamed a game in like 2 weeks. But I do hope to stream this Thursday. What? I still don't know. I'm throwing around this idea of streaming a whole playthrough of Jade Empire on the Xbox. But I don't know. We'll see. Maury, you and I need to finish fucking Resident Evil 5.
Yeah.
What happened with that, boys?
We got pretty far in, and then I don't know what happened. Maybe the holidays?
No, it was
politics.
That's
when you started, which, by the way,
turned out well.
Fucking horrible.
Yeah.
And if anybody wants to come to my house and maybe let me know. And if you support the president, fuck you. Get fucked. Finally, join the Discord. We have a fun little Discord where we discuss what we're playing and generally goof off together about video games. So if that sounds like something you'd like, click the link in the description of this video. Click the link in the bio of our socials to join the Discord. Boys, we typically start our shows here at Spotlight Games with what we've been playing. And this episode 150, this milestone episode, I'm not going to go change in the formula because if it ain't broke, we don't fix it here. Although it is often broke and we are often fixing. But for this, it is not. So let's start with what we've been playing. I go to you, my esteemed guest, to start us off. GWT Maury, what you been playing?
My goodness, what an honor to be here. Episode 150. What have I been playing? What have I been dumping all of my time into in between politics, in between raging on Twitter over Nazi salutes at the inauguration? What do I do in my free time? I play Marvel Rivals, Patrick. I am 100 hours into Marvel Rivals. I am sweating in comp every single day. I hit Diamond 1 last season. I'm currently in Plat 2 with hopes to hit Grandmaster, and I am loving every second.
Is Diamond better than You said so many things. I've already forgotten all of them.
No, that's okay.
What are these Rocket League tier terms you were using?
Right. Rocketeer. So the Rocketeer leagues, tiers. So it goes bronze, silver, gold, plat, diamond, GM, celestial, eternity, and then one above all.
GM as in General Motors? Is this a branded?
No. They didn't get the sponsorship in time for the game to come out, but it does mean Grandmaster. So I got Diamond, which is pretty good. I'm in the top 99% of players, or sorry, top 1% of players.
Yeah.
That was probably better said.
99th percentile.
Yes, 99th percentile, with hopes to go even higher. Yeah. So it's been a good time, but I can't stream it because I rage too often and I speak profanities too often.
Are you still banned from comms?
No, my com ban ended, but I'm right back to where I was before, and I'll probably be banned again soon. So
sure.
It's a good time.
Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it. Cayman, I'm sure you got at least one dumpster dive to tell us about this week. It's on episode 150, a momentous occasion,
brother. We got. What if I said, Patrick, we got 3 dumpster dives?
Oh, tell me all about it.
So we got 3 of them. All right, where do you want me to start, Patrick?
Let's start with Minute of Islands or whatever that's called, because that's what
Let's talk about. Good. Let's talk about Minute of Islands. This let me just go ahead and say this right now. This game's depressing as fuck.
Great.
Imagine like Adventure Time. Like that's what the cartoon style, like that's what this is, all hand drawn everything. Beautiful looking game. Just super fucking depressing because like the whole thing is about like the world ending and your like inner monologue just gets really fucking mean throughout the game. I picked it up for $2 on sale. This game is really fucking good. It's like a puzzle platformer. Yeah, there's no combat. It takes about 3 to 4 hours to beat. During that, you're going to play about 4 or 5 different levels, all like distinctly different from each other, all completely hand drawn. It's fully voice acted as well, which is also another like, or not fully. Well, your inner monologue is fully voice acted, which is really cool. And there's a lot of like emotional impacts throughout the story, because the whole thing is it tells a story about depression, anxiety, isolation, things like that. It even starts with a trigger warning, which like shockingly enough, not the first dumpster dive. It started with a trigger warning. We don't really talk about that other game, but yeah, look, I think Minutes of Islands is a really unique experience. I just like really have to like state that like, if you're going to go into it, just know what you're expecting. Cause like, if you go into it thinking this is like a cute little game, like I did, you will be sorely caught off guard. But outside of that, I think it's a really fun experience. Like I said, 3 to 4 hours, only a couple bucks. You can pick it up on sale right now. So like definitely recommend it if you're into games like Grease or Neva or whatnot.
It reminds me, the art style reminds me so much. Did either of you play Florence on mobile? It was a little narrative experience. It's probably on some consoles now, but the art style is very reminiscent of that. And that it's like the story of like a failed relationship, essentially. But it can be like very depressing. So it's like, maybe there's something about that art style that's just like, we're just going to rip your heart open.
Right. Yeah. No. I totally agree. Okay, so that's dumpster dive number 1. Let's go on to dumpster dive number 2. Let's talk about cat lateral damage.
Let's talk about it.
You play as first person cat. And if you know cats or have a cat, you know they're devious little fucks. And that's the whole point of the game is you are going to be first person cat mode, eating up the house plants, destroying everything you can get your grubby little mittens on, eating people's food, taking a shit ton of catnip and having a fucking macro trip out your balls. It is a mess of a fucking game. Is janky as shit, but a shit ton of fun.
Hell yeah.
Patrick, you played it too, didn't you?
I did. I fucked around a little bit of cat lateral damage, if I'm not mistaken, in VR, on PlayStation VR. If I didn't play it in PlayStation VR, I just played it on the PlayStation 4. But yeah, it completely co-signed everything you just said. Fucking shit graphics, Gameplay kind of fucking sucks, but somehow it's still a ton of fun.
Yeah, it's one of those games, like I was telling my wife, I was like, it reminds me of a game like Katamari Damacy or Power Wash Simulator, where it's just like you can turn your mind off and then just destroy a room for 5 minutes, and then you move on to the next level. Like, it's quick little dumps of endorphins. So yeah, definitely recommend. Also pick that one up for only a couple of bucks on sale, and it's on sale in everything right now.
Yeah.
So like you can get it literally in everything for only like a handful of dollars. So definitely recommend getting a copy of Collateral Damage remastered.
I love that it's remastered.
We're gonna speed through this last one, Patrick. I promise we'll get back on track.
Yeah.
I go bring in one more. This one rolled plat today, called Night at the Farm. It is another shocking lo-fi horror game.
Sure.
This time not from Torture Star. So, it's not coming from our boys over at Puppet Combo and Torture Star. So
sure.
I think would say like it's more closer to, if you guys remember the dumpster dive Sagebrush, where there's no immediate danger. It's more of like an exploration in a very creepy atmosphere while you're unraveling a mystery of like, why are you here? Where are all the people? What the fuck is all of this creepy shit about? And what is Mothman doing lurking in the corner of every fucking room? This one was another one I think I picked up for $2. Shocked, completely caught off guard. I haven't written my review to put on the Discord, so plugging the Discord, join. You can see all these dumpster dive
podcast exclusive.
Some I don't even post or talk about here. But yeah, it's a really good little game. It can take you like an hour to beat. Just kind of exploring around. It's got a couple pretty good jump scares. It's a very creepy atmosphere, and I think like unraveling the mystery is like one of the coolest parts. So for a little micro experience and a couple of bucks, like I really think you should definitely jump on it. It's fun. It's just a fun little creepy lo-fi horror game, and I can't get enough of them. Not gonna lie.
Oh yeah,
fucking love it.
That's awesome. It sounds great. What's it called again?
Night at the Farm.
Night at the Farm. DTM.
And I'll have a review of this tonight after the show. A review will go live on Discord.
Hell yeah.
So
join the Discord there. Shout out to McLean with it for a resub, 9 months. Yeah, you're a legend. You're an icon. We love to see it. I've been playing a little game called Citizen Sleeper. Let me unhide Maury real fast. This game, so the second one comes out in like 10 days. So I this is a game that's been on my radar for a very long time. I've just never actually played it. Cayman, this would be a great game to get a platinum for, but I think you'd hate it. Just to start out with. But I do think that platinum is pretty achievable. But this game, it's essentially a tabletop RPG, but as a video game. You're on this space station. You play as a sleeper, which is like a robot that is someone has put the consciousness of someone in cryosleep in your like body, and you're just on this space station trying to live essentially and trying to survive. It's not a survival game by any means, but there's all sorts of different story threads you go down, like things you uncover. You try to help people, get off the station or get on the station or whatever. There's just so many little like pockets of narrative in this game with a really beautiful, like overarching narrative. I've gotten most of the endings because it's the kind of thing where like there's kind of all sorts of different endings, and you can stop if you want, but I want to keep going and see all of the different endings that I can get. And now I'm into the like post-game DLC that was released. I don't know when it was released, but it was released after the game. And there's like 3 new missions in DLC, and I'm just having a great time. I can't wait to get to 2 once I'm done with this. If I had more time today, I would have finished it today, I think, because I'm on the 3rd of 3 DLC chapters. But really good game. Maury, have you played Citizen Sleeper?
Unbelievable. I downloaded it today without knowing that that's what you were playing. And
that's so funny.
And I'm just going to say this. It looks like there's a lot of reading. And though friend of the show, Jake Twitchen, doesn't like to read his games, yeah. I do.
Yeah.
All right.
You're going to love this game.
Yeah. I was taught how to read growing up.
Yeah.
Maybe Jake wasn't.
He wasn't.
No shade. I'm excited to try it out, though.
Yeah.
You've hyped me up.
He's a lovely man, but he can't read.
So, Patrick, question.
Yeah.
You had mentioned at the top that this was a game I would not like. Why would I not like this game?
I feel like, so it's very like dice forward. I mean, you did like Baldur's Gate 3 a lot.
I did.
But I don't know. I feel like no, you know what? I take that back. The more for a minute there, I thought I remembered that you didn't like reading games, but you just platinumed Coffee Talk. So like that, and that's all you do in that game. So maybe that was a little unfair. But so you might really fuck with it. And it just dropped on PlayStation Plus. I'm kind of annoyed that I played this on Game Pass and I didn't play it on PlayStation, since I'm only 2 achievements away from getting 1,000 on 1,000 gamer score. But it's whatever. But you know what? Yeah, Cayman, you should give it a shot and see if you like it. It's really slow at first, like once you kind of are figuring out how the game even works, because it's essentially a point and click game. But they make it work really well on controls, because I've not played, because I'm playing on Xbox. I'm not playing with a mouse. I'm playing with the controller. But I know, like the new one, I think, Jordan, if you're still in the chat, correct me if I'm wrong. I think the new one might only be launching on PC, but I could definitely be wrong on that. It seems like it was a PC first game, from my understanding.
Wasn't there an announcement that Citizen Sleeper 2 is coming to PlayStation Plus day and date?
It might be
crazy.
It could be. I
feel like I'm not crazy here.
Yeah, Cog says it's on all of them. I don't know about 2 still, but it is on all of them. So I'm very wrong. But yeah, it's a really good game. Game Pass day and date is what Cog says for 2. Okay. But yeah, they're like navigating the space can be a little tricky at first, but it's so simple that you'll understand it pretty quickly. I think it's just like the first 5 minutes are like, oh, this feels really janky is not the right word. It's just really limiting, because it's essentially the space. You're just like looking at the space station for the whole game, and you can just like scroll up and down the space station, and you can like twist it a little bit if you need to like get a better vantage point for a thing to click on. But at first it feels limiting in that. But then once you understand the loop, it's like, oh, this is actually like the perfect format for this game, because you're essentially just making story choices for this character and figuring out which ways to go down certain paths of quest lines, and how to use your time, which is, the time is delineated by dice rolls. Like there are certain things you can only do if you have a dice to roll. And based on like the number of dice that it gives you to start with, is how your odds of that roll are going to go. So like if it's a 2, 20 or like 50% chance you're going to fail the roll, 50% chance it'll be neutral, 0% chance it'll be positive. So like that, it has like a little bit of an economy with the dice, but really good. Can't wait to get to Citizen Sleeper 2 now that I'm about done with Citizen Sleeper 1.
I love it.
Yeah. So that brings us to the end of what we've been playing. What a joyous, I just can't believe that we're at episode 150. How fun is that? How cool is that? Look at us. We did a thing. Let's start the show off. So this is, you see behind my shoulder here, PlayStation logo. We're typically a bit PlayStation leaning here. This is going to be a bit of a PlayStation show today, folks. We're doing our PlayStation Hero Shooter Draft. But first, we got some bad news we got to talk about. First, we're going to talk about PlayStation canceling multiple first-party live service games. Que tragique. This is from Chris Scullion, at VGC. He writes, Bloomberg's Jason Schreier reports. I didn't pull the Bloomberg report because I don't pay for Bloomberg. Sorry, guys. Bloomberg's Jason Schreier reports that Sony canceled live service games in development at Bin Studio and Bluepoint Games, a report which was confirmed by a Sony spokesperson. One of them has been believed to be a God of War game. While Schreier's article doesn't describe the games in detail, he then took to Blue Sky to confirm that the game Bluepoint was working on was, in fact, a God of War title. Sony spokesperson confirmed that both games have been canceled, quote, following a recent review, end quote, but stressed that neither studio would be closed down as a result of the cancellations. I call bullshit. We'll get to that. Quote, Bend and Bluepoint are highly accomplished teams who are valued members of the PlayStation Studios family, and we are working closely with each studio to determine what are the next projects, they told Bloomberg. Bin Studios' last game, as we know, was 2019 Days Gone, which is criminally underplayed and criminally under-received. It's a great fucking video game.
Yes.
The studio posted a job listing in March 2024 looking for a lead project manager with, quote, hands-on game development experience and leadership roles, shipping AAA live service games, end quote. And then it goes on to say like a bunch of stuff about Blue Point and how they've only done remakes to this point, but it's just like filler for the story. So ultimately, these two games, one from Blue Point, one from Bend, have both been canceled. They were both live service games. Maury, I know you have a lot of thoughts on this subject, so I want to throw to you first. Initial thoughts, feelings, reactions to this news story.
Of course, I'm going to try to work top to bottom with the article. I'm going to start off by talking about this God of War live service title being made by Blue Point. I don't understand what the hell is going on. I don't know who this game was for. I love God of War. God of War is one of my favorite franchises of all time. It might be my favorite franchise of all time. I don't know how a live service game works. I mean, we saw what a multiplayer mode looked like in Ascension, and it wasn't exactly phenomenal. Now a live service multiplayer game, like, I just don't understand why that decision was made from the top. Something else that has been a bit frustrating for me is I'm reading a lot online and I keep seeing the same thing. Well, PlayStation doesn't make their studios do anything. That's true. But Patrick, if you're my boss and you say, hey, John, I'd really like it if you could have this Google spreadsheet done by Friday.
If I may, let's do a little role play. Hey, John. Knock, knock, knock. John, you have a minute?
Yeah, I got a minute.
Hey, this is your boss here. I was just curious. Could you maybe give me some spreadsheets by the end of the day?
I could probably make that happen. Yeah.
Okay, you know, it was right now. Our strategy as a company is to get spreadsheets in by the end of the day. So it'd be really good if you could give me some spreadsheets by the end of the day, please, John.
Right, but I'm allowed to do whatever I want, right?
Oh, for sure. We value agency for our employees here at this company, but just know that as a company, we really love it when spreadsheets are done by 5 p.m. Thank you, John. I hope you have a great day. Tell your family I said hello.
Yeah, thank you, boss. Thank you.
I am quitting this fucking podcast.
Sorry, we had to do a quick role play. The people love it.
It was great. And by the way, Patrick, that was exactly what Sony has been doing with these first-party studios. You're telling them you can do whatever you want, but we're making a live service push right now, right? And so when you're looking at these studios like Blue Point, who were just recently purchased, recently acquired, and they're trying to make their mark, right? They're trying to do something at Sony that's remembered, that's revolutionary, that gets them in good, right? You look at Ben, that has never really had a major success. I mean, you wouldn't even call the Siphon Filter games successes, major successes at least. They're trying to leave an impact on Sony. They're trying to leave an impact on the player base. And so they decided to play along with Sony's vision, and they got screwed for it. I mean, they got screwed for it. I really love Days Gone. You said it earlier, criminally underplayed. Good. Yes, criminally underrated. Regardless, it wasn't received well by the public. They wanted to do something that was going to be received well by the public. They followed Sony's lead, and they got screwed for it. Again, like, if their next game, not this game they were working on, because now they got to make a whole new game, is even 4 years away, it will have been 10 years without a title being released from them. And that spells blood to me. Sure. That spells studio going under. That's what that says, right? They've killed studios for less.
Sure.
And so there's just such a mismanagement of this talent. I also get worried about the Ship of Theseus argument, right? You have now trained two giant, they're actually both relatively sized, but still two teams in your first party lineup on how to make live service games. How does any of that translate now to what they're going to go on to do? How many people left these studios because they were like, yo, I don't want to make live service games. I want to make stories. I want to make narratives, or I want to remake games. And so now you've lost that talent, and all you have left is people who really know what they're doing with live service, but don't know what they're doing with a single player title. Is it even the same ship anymore? Like, can these teams make these kinds of games when they've been prepping themselves for the last 5 years to make live service titles? There's so much mismanagement here. I'm completely distraught. This might go down as the worst PlayStation generation because of how poorly managed so many of these teams were.
Yeah.
So
it's bad. Dumpster Boy, I want to bring you in here because I know you are one of the most outspoken people I know in corporate mismanagement. So I would love to get your thoughts on how fucking horribly PlayStation has fumbled this bag.
No.
And that's our show. Thanks, everybody.
Okay, so two things here. Obviously, Sony fucking sucks. We say it all the time. I'll be the first to say it. One of two things is happening right now, right? Either one, Sony Bend is going to be closed by the end of 2025, or two, there's two games being made simultaneously at Sony Bend. And honestly, kind of believe that that's probably the case for Blue Point as well.
Sure.
Keep in mind where they were. Either one of two things is happening with Sony Bend is either they're at a point where like that game was literally launching this year and Sony canceled it, or they were just booting up like into production. No fucking way that it's been 6 years that they don't have something.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a good point.
So we might get one of those, a Matt McMuscle's What Happened episodes about this, where we find out that that's the case. So part of me thinks that like maybe it's not the end. We'll know for certain how bad this situation is. I would say probably by April.
Sure.
Blue Point, I think, is definitely the safer of the two. Because I can almost guarantee you right now that there's a remaster taking place at some capacity at Sony, and it's probably being led by a portion of Blue Point. I wouldn't be surprised if it's like a remaster of the first God of War, something like that. Like they're already fucking around in that universe. It would make sense. They've talked about wanting to have another God of War game like with modern visuals. So I genuinely think there's a good chance we might see that, and assets were going to be used for the live service game. But Sony's a piece of shit and fuck them. So,
Yeah. It's just like, I do like your point, Cayman, about it's very possible that both of these studios are also working on another project. That is certainly very possible, because I think this isn't the first time that there's been backdoor, unofficially, well, I guess this one is official now, of another bin game being canceled. Like this is at least the second one since Days Gone, right? Wasn't there, like they shut down Days Gone 2?
Yep.
I don't
came
think
to them and was like, that's not happening.
Right. Well, I don't think that they were like far enough into production of Days Gone 2 for that to matter too much. It seemed like Sony came in immediately and was like, not gonna happen.
But I gotta ask this, because I love what both of you are implying. You're like, maybe there's a second title at these studios. These are two of PlayStation's smallest studios. Like Blue Point has 70 people and Bend has, I think, like 150. How does a studio that small have something in the background? Like, is that even possible for the head count that they have at these studios?
I mean, I don't know. Not on a AAA level. That's a good point. More than likely, right? Like, you think about Demon's Souls from Blue Point, one of the most still best looking games on the PlayStation 5, and then Days Gone, the game that keeps getting bigger as you play it. It's like that game is so deceptively fucking massive. I remember there was one point in that game, you get to like a second area, and I'm like, there's more?
Yes, dude. Yes,
there's 15 more hours of this game. I was glad for it. I love the game. But that is a good point, that like they don't make these days small games. So like,
no,
I don't see them making like a volume type siphon filter game, right? Like they're a AAA studio. So that's a good point too. I don't know. I do have legit concerns about both studios, especially like what a bummer after seeing how much good shit Blue Point did, that they finally are like, all right, we're going to go make a new thing. And it ends up having to be the live service shit. And how, I'm sorry, I love God of War. How do you make God of War a live service?
I don't know. I don't know. This is my whole thing. Like I've sat here literally for the last 4 days since this like announcement came out, and I've just been like reeling, trying to figure out, what does that even look like?
Right.
Is my buddy playing as Atreus and am I Kratos? And we're like fighting bosses? Like, I don't know. Like that doesn't even sound interesting or plausible or fun.
No, it doesn't. But I'm sure we're going to be hearing more. Like Cayman said, I'm sure if a studio closes, which I hope it fucking doesn't, but I mean, we're going to obviously get that news. We're going to talk about it on the show. But I hope that we get a breaking news story in the next couple weeks or months of like, oh, there's actually another game that's being worked on. But I especially from Blue Point.
Yeah,
like, I want to see them do something that's not just remaking a game, because they're obviously so good at that. Give them a chance to make their own fucking game. I would love that, but it doesn't seem like we're going to be getting that.
Wait, hold on, Patrick.
Yes.
Did you say something about making our own game?
Oh, I sure did. What a great segue.
Wow.
To the topic of the show for episode 150. Maury, when he was first on the show, way back to review Concord, before we realized what was going to happen with that game, on the air, we had this idea that we should create a PlayStation hero shooter, get all of the various PlayStation IP, and we come to the table and we pitch the characters that we would want and their abilities. So we're going to give them a primary fire. We're going to give them maybe a secondary fire. We're going to give them a couple powers. We're going to give them an ultimate ability. We're going to go around the horn. We're going to essentially build our teams in a snake draft format. So if you've listened to our Fantasy Critic episodes before, we're going to spin the wheel in a second to decide the order. Whoever goes first, they won't go again until 2 and 3 have both gone twice. And then number 1 will go again. It'll make sense as we go through it. So the way this is going to work, like I said, we're each going to draft 6 games. We are going to do the full pitch. We're going to pick our character, give it the primary fire, 2 abilities, a passive is optional, and then their ultimate ability as well. And at the end of it, I challenge all of you in the audience right now, especially High Score Weekly gifting out 5 subs to the channel for episode 150. Thank you, High Score Weekly. What a generous thing. We love the support. Thank you so much for being here. But if you stay to the end, you're going to be able to vote on which of our teams is the best and what's the prize. Maybe we'll walk away with $150 to celebrate 150. That's not going to happen, but maybe. We never know. So to start us off, let me pull up. Let's do a little screen share real fast. I'm going to share this tab of Picker Wheel. I'm going to spin this tab. So there's the Dumpster Boy, there's Peach Wussy, there's my gamble we're taking, and just put this here for fun, just to see if it happens to land on there. So the first pick of the draft,
please,
came in. Nope. Just put this here for fun. Spin again.
Wow. Fuck yeah. Give me 3, baby. Give me 3.
First pick of the draft. My gamble we're taking.
God.
GWT Mori. And then second in the draft. Also, we do not stand by any ads that are on this sheet right now. Just so you know. Peach Wussy, pick number 2.
Wow.
The Dumpster Boy will have pick number 3. So, Maury, you're up first. I have a bunch of B-roll that I've pulled that I took guesses on. So as we all start to pitch our games, if I have B-roll for it, I'll pull it up. If not, we're just gonna fucking talk and use our voices and people can imagine the things. But Maury, this was your idea, so it only makes sense that you get to go first.
Patrick, what an honor. What an honor to be here. I'm taking something huge off the board. I'm not gonna leave it there for you sick fucks. Give me Kratos, motherfucker.
Wow.
Give me John Kratos.
Starting off.
Listen,
with your very obscure list.
Very obscure. No, Cayman, that's the only obvious one. Everything else is niche. I promise. Guys, I'm going with Kratos as my first round pick. What is Kratos going to do? What does his ability set look like? Kratos' primary fire is obvious. He's going to use his Leviathan axe, and he's going to chop heads off with it.
Sure.
My first ability is going to be, of course, the iconic moment. I still remember watching it live when Kratos threw his axe the first time. We're getting a Leviathan axe throw. It's going to give this tanky, beefy boy some range. It's going to allow me to poke some healers, poke some DPS, right? And for my number 2, I'm going to do the Blades of Chaos Spiral. Just like we used to see in the old games when he would whip it around multiple times. Rah. We're doing that for our second ability. And lastly, it's a little unexciting, but it's what had to be done.
Yeah.
For my ultimate, give me the Spartan Rage.
Oh, come on.
Spartan Rage.
He's click L3 and R3 at the same time for the Spartan Rage.
Right.
Come on.
Right.
That's it. And he's going to do a ton of damage. He's going to get shield over top of his health bar, so he's going to be really hard to put in the dirt. It's an obvious pick. It's an obvious kit. But to leave him on the board would have been a crime.
It would have been a miss for sure.
Correct. Yeah.
It's a clear, obvious first pick. So here's my question. Jake Twitchin in the chat says he offers an option for a power. He says secondary fire, blow ashes of his loved ones into the eyes of his enemies, blinding them momentarily. Consider it. Consider it.
I will not.
Okay. Okay.
Oh,
so I think this is a good, strong first pick. I wouldn't play as Kratos because I have learned I don't like a melee hero and a hero shooter. That's my own inadequacies as a gamer. But it does sound like he would be pretty strong. So would he be a tank or a DPS character?
I would make him a tank. He's beefy enough.
He's beefy enough. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I can fuck with that. Okay. So for my first pick, I'm also going to take one off the board that I fear might not last. Of all the ones that I have, I think this is the most likely that anyone else would pick. So that's why I'm picking it first. And so for my first pick of the draft, I am picking one Astrobot. Now you might be sitting there wondering, Astrobot and a hero shooter. Let me innovate the genre of the hero shooter. Boys, can I innovate the whole entire genre of the hero shooter?
Innovate, baby.
With a hero shooter, we have the tank class. We have the DPS class. We have the healer class. I question, why can't one be all three? The concept of Astrobot is that his main power is to change into different Astrobots. So I've just put out 3 versions, but this could be something that is just built upon and built upon. So the first Astrobot is a Joel Astrobot. So the main power will be switching Astrobots. It'll have a cooldown. And then each of the Astrobots that you get that are themed have 1 power. So because you can only have the 2 powers, right? So Joel's power, it's his revolver. He just gives you a fucking shot to the face.
I love
that. And so he is a bit of a tank with Joel. So if you turn into Joel Astrobot, you get higher health. Maybe you're moving a little slower. Maybe he gets a little bigger. Who knows? But you're getting a little bit of a tanky Astrobot. My second one that I picked is Aloy. So with Aloy, she's going to be DPS. Primary fire becomes her bow. Secondary fire is her staff. And then Aloy's power is the rope caster. So the idea being grab the enemy, get them still, take them down so that the rest of your team can come in and pound, that kind of thing. And then the third one that I built, this one actually maybe doesn't quite work in the original thought, because I'm realizing now that a healer is supposed to heal other characters. And my idea of the healer is to heal yourself. So I guess this is actually just a tank. The third Astrobot is a Kratos Astrobot. So give him the Leviathan axe, and then his Kratos ability is the Spartan Rage, so that he becomes invincible, gets a little health back, etc. But maybe we make Joel a healer instead of a tank, so that not really a healing character. But what you got, Cayman?
Question is, do you change? Can you like automatically change it between Astrobots at any given time, or
there's got to be a cooldown?
Only be okay. So
that's got to be the ultimate ability, right? Is shifting to another Astrobot.
I don't think so. I think the ultimate ability
like change when you die, like
you could. You could maybe when you go into the match, you can pick one of. Maybe that's a better way to do it. You pick which Astrobot you are for that entire round, and you don't get to switch it. Maybe that's what it is. So it's like a multi-skin thing.
But I love the Pokemon trainer.
I do love the Pokemon trainer.
Right. Yeah.
So the ult idea is, if anybody has played Astrobot on the PS5, when you finish a level. And Maury helped me out with this one. The DualSense flies in full of Astrobots. The ult is a DualSense flies in filled with Astrobots. You get on it, you point it to an area. It's an area of effect blast, and it just wipes out anybody in the area for Astrobot. So that's the idea for the Astrobot character. It maybe could use some tweaking. I'll admit it maybe could use some tweaking, but I thought it would be fun to immediately break the game and try to include as many PlayStation IP as I possibly could in one character. So my first is Astrobot. Cayman, who you got?
All right, so I'm gonna start the same way by picking off a huge name off the list, just going ahead and sealing that deal for myself. So I'm gonna go with Nathan Drake from Uncharted.
Hell yeah.
So main attack, this is going to be, and I do want to preface this by saying, this is my lamest character. Sure. It's only going to get more deranged from here. What we get here, our main weapon, just an AK-47. Just he's going to play like a very traditional, just like a high, fast fire rate. Secondary attack is a pistol, not a pistol, a pistol. It's a slow firing one shot, basically. So you get a more powerful, but a slower attack for your secondary. His cooldown move is his infamous grenade lob. if anyone's played Uncharted, he will just fucking lob grenades all willy-nilly and shit.
For sure.
That's pretty much what we're doing here. He's going to lob 3 grenades 10 meters in front of the player that do 25% damage per grenade. Is it cooldown, but it doesn't do a ton. It does enough damage that if you get hit by like 2 of them, like you're half health, like you're fucked. But it's not going to, it doesn't break the game, right? Passive or movement ability is that he has his infamous grappling hook. So he'll be able to be a cooldown move where he'll be able to throw it up, grapple, and then swing across. Just speeds up his movement a little bit. The ultimate is called, hope you guys are ready for this, the Sully Special. Yep. Our good friend Sullivan is going to burst onto the scene as he's driving a military Jeep, but he's just going to drive in a straight line. So this is going to be one of the ones that you're going to use this ultimate when you bottleneck. There's some really good maps on Marvel Rivals that have like this special bottleneck place. So you just want to get everyone to kind of funnel in together and then just fucking lay down Sullivan in his military Jeep. And he's going to plow through in a straight, just like a tornado right through the map.
That's so fucking funny.
I love that kid. I love that kid. I love that you make Sully run everybody over. It's beautiful.
Right.
It's brilliant.
I mean, it's trademark him to do some shit like hitting a guy and then dropping the one-liner of like, hey kid, as he just literally murdered a man. Cold fucking blood.
Do I need to stream the entire Uncharted series on Spotlight Games?
I'll join you.
Watching the Nathan Drake collection trailer, I'm like, I could fuck with some Uncharted right now. I haven't played an Uncharted game in several years.
When you get to Uncharted 4, I'll coach you through the platinum on that series.
Ooh, platinum stream. Now that's an idea. Okay, so
beautiful platinum.
Round 1, our teams are myself with Astrobot, Maury with Kratos, and Cayman, you with Nathan Drake. Now, Cayman, you get to go again with the snake draft, and then it'll come to me.
So next up, I'm actually going to pull some B-roll for this because this is a little bit of a niche one that might not everybody remember. This glorious PlayStation mascot, and that is Sir Daniel Fortescue from Medieval.
Someone was going to do it.
Old PlayStation 1 game. It got a remaster on the PlayStation 4 that is actually a pretty good remaster and a pretty good remake of the original game. So Sir Daniel Fortescue, main attack, he's going to be a melee, up close and personal. His main attack is going to be his trusty broadsword. He will carry the shield, so he will have the ability when in his primary attack mode to pull the shield while running in. However, the shield drops whenever he's attacking. So he can take damage, but he does take reduced damage if shield's out. Secondary attack is going to be his crossbow. So it'll be his medium range weapon. All my characters that I have some sort of medium range. He's going to have his crossbow out to be able to keep that. Cooldown move is going to be his the first power up you get in Medieval. It's going to be his Cyclone Swing. Where he pulls his sword out and spins in a circle real fast. This move is an AoE attack, kind of just wipes the field, kind of get in close personal, do your little swing. For his passive movement, this one's a good one. It's called the Dan Hand. He can remove his head and he puts it on a severed hand. When in that mode, he can travel much, much faster, but he can deal no damage. So he can book ass across. And for anyone who wants to know, that is indeed a move in Medieval, is the Dan Hand. And the name is the Dan Hand. So for his ultimate move is a spin on the Dan Hand, and it's called Giant Body. This is where he replaces his severed head on the body of a giant monster. This is in one of the boss fights in Medieval, is he does it. And essentially you turn into the Hulk. So you're going to go in like big destructo mode. You're going to take like way less damage, deal a shit ton of damage. It's basically just rampage through for like a 5 second to 10 second timer. Once it's off, you drop back to normal, but he goes on his rampaging ways, boys.
I love it. Sir Daniel Fortescue. You have a question, Maury?
Yeah, I gotta ask, Cayman. So I love the pick. What do you think he most closely fits in? Is he a DPS?
He would be a DPS.
Okay.
A DPS. I mean, that's kind of, I think, with the AoE attack and his Hulk attack. I would say if you were to more closely relate him to someone, I would probably say like maybe like a Mr. Fantastic in Marvel Rivals.
Got it.
Would probably a little bit faster, not as he will do DPS, but I don't necessarily think tank. I don't know if I even have a single tank. I might.
Yeah, that's a good.
Actually, we'll save that for last pick.
Wow.
I can't wait. Okay, to me for my number 2. This one I can't decide if I want to stick like kind of mainstream or just go like right to a relatively obscure character. Any feelings from y'all on which way I should go? Here.
Obscure. Give me
Let's go
obscure.
It's not like the most obscure by any means, but I can probably guarantee that not a single person in this room is going to choose Fetch from Infamous First
I love that.
So part of my thinking, I don't do this the entire way, but part of my thinking is don't go for like the clear mascot of the franchise. So like I was thinking Infamous, I'm thinking Cole, I'm thinking Delson. Just like, you know what's a little more interesting? Fetch with her neon abilities. So
I love it.
The primary fire is her neon bolts.
Yeah.
Which actually I think I pulled some B-roll for this. Let me grab that real fast. So we have the neon bolts for her primary fire. Secondary fire is the neon charged melee attacks.
Okay.
So you can, change back and forth whether you want to be melee or ranged. Power 1 is Neon Drain, which in the game you like drain neon and like electricity from certain things. My kind of thinking is there isn't going to be a lot of neon in this game theoretically, so let's just kind of break the rules a little bit, and it's like a health drain. Like I take some health from the character as my neon drain. Power 2 is Volatile Stasis. A lot of my attacks, I realize, are putting people in like freezing them so that the rest of the team can do damage. Volatile Stasis, you freeze enemies briefly and increase the damage that they take for a brief time. And then her ult is Singularity, which you'll see at the very end of this trailer. Just bringing together everything in the area, the immediate area, putting it into this giant ball of neon energy and blowing it up. My thought is if you don't have like 3/4 health or more, the character dies, but maybe that's a little too OP. I don't know. I don't play enough of these games, but I thought that would be a fun like way of kind of injecting something that impacts everybody in that area to kind of change up the flow of the game. So yeah, my second pick, Fetch from Infamous First Light.
I love that.
Dude, I was literally just about to glaze you just like Cayman and just tell you what a phenomenal pick. I was dangerously close to picking Eugene. Because growing up, when I was 14 and Infamous Second Son came out, like I was obsessed with Eugene because he was me, high school, nerdy, super off-putting, all that, right? He was my profile picture on everything. I loved Eugene. I always wanted to get like a statue or a poster of him. Those didn't exist. Infamous Second Son was not that successful. What a phenomenal pick, Patrick. I just want to bravo.
Thank you. So yeah, my team so far, Astrobot and Fetch. And Jake in the chat says, imagine my disappointment that Fetch is not a dog. A lot cooler than a dog. Because dogs don't have neon powers.
No, they don't. None that I know. None that I know.
All right, Maurice, you get back to back picks.
You know how close I was to picking the Shibu Inu at the end of Silent Hill 2?
God damn it.
What is that?
Not even kidding. Was so close to picking that as one of my characters.
God, that would have been legendary.
I'm so excited to see how niche his picks go if that was something he considered.
Yeah. A dog in Silent Hill.
Yeah, I'm concerned. I'm concerned. Okay. This next segment, because I get to go twice, don't I?
You get to go twice, back to back.
This next segment is for Hideo Kojima.
Whoa.
Ladies and gentlemen, for my second round draft pick, I will be taking Higgs Monaghan, the lead villain in Death Stranding, if you don't include Mads Mikkelsen.
Sure.
Played by none other than Troy Baker. Higgs's kit is going to be fairly simple. I'm going to make his primary fire that Death Stranding assault rifle. It's not too exciting. It's going to get you a little bit of range. It's not going to hit nearly as far as Fetch is going to, but it's enough. For his first ability, I'm giving him a teleport ability. I don't have a fun name for it. I wish I did. But essentially, Higgs is going to have a 5 to 10 second cooldown where he can teleport 10 to 20 meters in front of him in any which direction he may like, so that he can get behind enemy lines, so that he can get up to height and look down on people, etc.
Call it Teleport Man.
Call it. That was just the best naming convention ever, Patrick. Ironically, it's better than what I gave, which was Teleport.
Great. Teleport Man.
Teleport Man. For my second ability, it's called Chiralium Latch. And it's where the little BTs, the little black goo men, come up out of the ground and grab the enemy by their legs and hold them in place. So
can we call it Latch Man? I would like to put man in all of
Die Hard Man. God, I still can't believe how many of the names in that game are something man.
Yeah.
Chiralium Latch Man is the second ability.
Great. Let's go.
And for my ultimate, I'm calling it Don't Breathe. If you remember from the game, something Higgs can do is he can kind of like levitate up in the sky. He has to like have an object underneath him, like a stone or something. But essentially what's going to happen is it's going to be an area of effect ultimate where Higgs is launched up into the air and a BT just arises up out of the ground and everyone has to stop moving. In this time period, that may be 5 to 7 seconds, Higgs is able to sit from that high point on the map and rain down fire on people. And if they want to move, they can take one for the team. But if they move, then it sweeps them away.
Is it this thing? No, I don't remember the game well enough to know if this is what the thing is.
No. I that'd be far more exciting if it was that amazing. It's just one of like the black goo men that just comes up
the goo men. Yeah.
And then so this is kind of like the idea is that your team has to play around it. So if you see it, you could take one for the team. You could be like, guys, I'm going to move. And then it's going to sweep you away and everyone can like protect themselves from the fire being rained down on them by Higgs. But if nobody moves, then you're just getting rained down on. And if no one communicates and 3 of you move at once, you all get swept up.
Yeah.
It's exceptional. It's just, So
earlier to peel the curtain back a little bit, I was asking for some B-roll from the boys, and I was like, if you have something like a little obscure, just let me know what it is so I can pull the B-roll. And he was like, Higgs Monaghan, and I was like, I have no idea who that is. He was like, Death Stranding. I was like, oh, I beat that game. Still have no idea who that is.
The whole game is a fever dream. I get it. I'm not surprised that you didn't know the name.
Also, Maury, did you know that Jake Twitch in the chat says he's something of a goo man himself?
Man, I don't even know if I have words for that today, Patrick. It's a late night, you know?
Yeah. All right. Who's your third pick?
This episode's just going to be clips of fucking Jake Twitch in the chat moments.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
When you're putting out heaters like that.
Yeah.
I can't stop.
I'm something of a goo man myself. But to clarify, for our second round picks,
yes.
Cayman, you took the gentleman from Medieval. His name was again?
Daniel Fortescue.
And then Patrick, you took
Fetch from Infamous First Light.
God, I love that
DLC.
pick. Love that pick. And I took Higgs Monaghan, the most desired part of this draft. I really got a steal here. My first pick for the third round is none other than, yet again, for Hideo Kojima. Guys, give me Sam Porter Bridges.
Whoa. Back-to-back Death Stranding picks.
Yeah. I'm standing on business. I'm choosing Sam Porter Bridges. Very similar to Higgs. Primary fire is that assault rifle.
Yeah.
Not super
Walking in a hero shooter is going to be really important.
You said what?
Walking in a hero shooter is going to be really important.
I can't wait for the ultimate move just to be to fall over and just hit people with boxes.
Yeah.
No. It's
Jeff Keighley pops up.
I wish. No. Jeff Keighley is not a part of this person's kit. But I'll tell you what is. What is a part of Sam Porter Bridges' kit is that if he looks at a fellow ally and gives them a thumbs up, it heals them.
Ooh, so he's the healer.
Yeah. And it's so meta.
That's so funny.
It's so meta. So he's my healer on my team. And it's just super like you're just shooting your AR and you look at someone and you just give them a thumbs up. It gives them a little boost in morale, gives them a little boost in health. My second ability is fairly simple. It's a zip line. Just like the ones that you build in the game for the purpose of being able to get across the map quickly, get to point, do whatever may be required of you. And lastly, my ultimate ability I'm far too excited to tell you about is called repatriation.
God damn it.
Sam Porter Bridges. What he does is if he dies, he can use his ultimate ability on his death screen, and everyone on the team who has died within the last 10 seconds goes into the womb.
Yeah.
The little baby's
Get
head.
the baby. Get the baby. Maury's right behind you. Get the baby.
Get the baby. Get the baby. Get the baby. Oh no, no, no. And this little guy, this little sucker right here, just comes up out of the womb, stares you in the eye, and pulls you back into life. You did that so well, Patrick.
Thank you.
Holy fuck.
You basically res your whole team. Everyone has died within 5 to 10 seconds, and they all repatriate. All the baby shows up on all their screen. It's brilliant. Hideo Kojima.
So can you confirm today that our Spotlight Games created PlayStation Hero Shooter is a Strand game?
I think we can confirm today.
Because if we have 2 Death Stranding characters and the baby is there.
Oh, there's 2 babies. There's 2 units.
And John Gooman is in the ultimate ability. I think that was from Rabbit in the chat. Also, Rabbit just also bringing the heat tonight. Maury, he says, not surprising from the guy who likes Starfield.
Dude, why do I
catching strays?
I like what I like.
Brother.
You know what? It was Greg Miller's favorite game of 2023. I feel no shame. I feel no shame. And Death Stranding is a masterpiece that we didn't understand in 2019. That's what I have to say to you, Rabbit.
I love it. God. All right, I'm going to take a gamble here. And there's a character that I really want, but I'm going to hope that Cayman doesn't. I'm taking a gamble that because of how niche Cayman is going, that he's not going to take this other character. But I got to honor the brand of Patrick. I got to do a Last of Us character.
Oh yeah, no. Neither one of us were going to choose this character's bud. That's all I know.
I'm going to go with Abby as my choice as a character in this game. So not Joel or Ellie. I'm going Abby. Abby's going to obviously be a tank. Her primary fire is those big fists of hers. Her secondary fire, it could be any of. It could be the rifle. It could be the it could maybe you could switch through the guns. Maybe that's too OP. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Because mostly she's going to be a melee class. Power 1 is momentum, which is in the game. If you get a melee kill as Abby, you go into this like rage mode that I don't think you can take damage, but every time it's like 1-hit kills as punches. They're not going to be 1-hit kills in the game as punches, but it will make her punches be a lot stronger. Maybe it's 2 punches to kill somebody. That's Power 1. Power 2 is listen mode. It pings the whole map. And for like, let's say 15 seconds, you can see where everyone is on the map if you do listen mode. And then Abby's ultimate ability, we're calling it the back 9. She pulls out a 3-iron and gets to just whack somebody in the face with it, instant kill.
Wow, that's awesome. I was really hoping that was going to be the ultimate ability. I was waiting for you to say like gone golfing.
No, the back 9. We're calling it the back 9.
I love it. I love this. This is amazing.
Speaking of such, I almost chose golfer from Everybody Golf, and I'm really glad I did because that was all of its moves.
Yeah, exactly. Then this would have been a golf game and a Strand game, and we can't do that.
No,
we can't do that.
No.
All right, Cayman, back to you for your next 2 picks.
All right. Well, we're gonna go with another mainstream character here.
Okay.
When I say mainstream, I'm saying like PlayStation 2 mainstream. So maybe not. I'm gonna go with Sly Cooper.
Nice.
I think Sly Cooper is absolutely solid here. Main attack is gonna be this cane. We're going with the cane for the main attack. I think solid move. It's what he's known for. Secondary attack, we're going with Bentley's trigger bombs. So he'll have
Bentley
the
ability.
No, Bentley is the
one that's not the
maybe
hippo.
The turtle.
Doesn't matter. I'm just curious.
Yeah. I'm drawing a blank. Don't ask me questions like that, Patrick.
Sure.
Bentley's the turtle.
So he's throwing, he's tossing out the trigger bombs. The cool thing about this move is that one, they're going to be slow charging, so you can't just spam them. However, what you can do though is you can cook them for a longer distance, so you can like choose how long you hold it to see how far you throw it, which gives it some diversity. Cooldown move, we're going with Sly Cooper's dive kick. You'll launch yourself up in the air and then drive down. So it's a nice little AoE attack. Passive movement tech is stealth mode. Sly is going to go invisible, but at the cost of 20% reduced movement speed, and then becomes visible again when attacking for the first time. So you should be able to kind of like, you could sneak up if you want, like, flank around the side. However, you are a little bit slower when you do because you are sneaking, but completely invisible. Ultimate move is called the Cooper Gang. The Cooper Gang leaps out into action. Bentley shoots a gas bomb that reduces enemy movement speed if they get into impacted zone. Murray Murray rolls up into a ball and then fires off like a cannon in one direction, similar to Sully, just a smaller area of attack. And then Carmelita drops an ammo crate that allows all teammates who pick it up projectile speed increase of 50% for 5 seconds. So
seems like
you can
pretty good kit.
You can combine that with like a shooter, and all of a sudden they're just fucking machine gun firing. Like the pistol turns into a fucking machine gun of like damage wielding. So it's a perfect setup, but at the same time, if used inappropriately, you really can do very little damage, unless you just like are able to hit like one person. So this is more of like a support move. So that's good old Sly Cooper. Now, boys, what if we did something really fucking stupid?
I want stupid. I want stupid so bad.
The Slayer of Demons from Demon Souls.
Okay.
No. You fuckers get ready for this. Main attack, we're going with the Demon Slayer from the cover art, okay? We are going to switch it up a little bit. He's going to have his Night Sword as his main attack. So he's going to play kind of similar to Sir Daniel Fortescue with a more melee class. However, secondary attack, he's going to use the Silver Catalyst Staff, which is the mage staff that has Soul Arrow. So he does have a ranged attack.
That's awesome.
Which is very important because his cooldown move is the fucking fire bombs to kill the pit demon at the beginning of the game. Which is the strat. So you just stock up on fire bombs and you just bomb his ass at the beginning. This is the strat. So we're really playing with meta here. Now here's where things get really cool and why this character I think fucks. His passive is hollow. Upon death, you revive immediately with half of your life.
Nice.
And take 1.5% damage or more damage. So you do take a little bit more damage, but you immediately revive with half your life when you die. You can only happen once during each. So you can't just like die, go hollow, then go hollow again. Right. So, once you die, you can do it again the next one, but you essentially get 1.5 lives. Now, you're probably thinking, Cayman, that's actually pretty cool. And
this is actually very cool.
Wait till you get to the ultimate. The ultimate's called You Died. The player feigns death. He'll just ragdoll to the ground. And then when he does, a giant red You Died falls from the sky and then crushes everything in a 30-meter radius around you.
Oh my God. This is amazing. This is the best kit.
Incredible.
This is the best kit. This is the best kit we've gotten all night.
That's really good.
It's only going to get worse from here, boys.
All right. That is very, very good.
Oh, my God.
That's okay. Awesome.
I love what you did with the hollow thing. Like the fact that you come back, the 1.5% more damage. Like all of it's brilliant. I'm sorry.
It doesn't make it OP, when you do it too, which I think works by taking a little bit more damage.
Yes, for sure. I
feel like what I am kind of realizing as we do these is that like if this game were to be real, the amount of like the opportunities to go the Astrobot route and just like put in so much love for these franchises.
Yes, dude.
I feel like that would be such a cool thing that I don't know that we see in this kind of game. I mean, maybe Marvel Rivals because all of those characters have lore, but I don't know. They're good. If someone's watching this and wants to buy the idea from this,
it's so insane. I went through like pulling some of these characters, and I got to a point where like I was like, good God, they could do a hero shooter. This shit would fuck.
Yes, it would.
It would
fuck.
Yes, it would. Yes, it would.
Okay, so to recap, your third pick was Sly Cooper, and your fourth pick was the Demon Slayer from Demon Souls. For my fourth pick, so far I have Astrobot, Fetch, and Abby from The Last of Us Part 2. My fourth pick. Do you want me to do a duo or a single character?
Ooh, I want to hear what this duo is.
Okay, you won't be that surprised by it. The duo character is Ratchet and Clank.
Got it. Got it.
So the primary fire is just Ratchet's base gun, whatever that's called. I forget what it's like the something 9 or something. I forget what it's called. Doesn't matter. Power 1 got to be the Groovatron blast. You shoot out the disco ball. You make everybody kind of freeze in place and start dancing a bit, and then that gives everybody on the team a chance to just fucking kill the character that you threw the Groovatron ball, or all the people that the Groovatron ball are being affected by. Power 2 is the Lightning Rod Blast, which is a gun that shoots out a little lightning rod, and it does like damage that kind of like chains together between enemies. So obviously Ratchet, a DPS character. His ult is the Black Hole Storm. This is a name of a gun. I don't know that this is what the gun does in the game, but my idea with the Black Hole Storm is Ratchet pulls out this gun, shoots a black hole into the middle of the arena, and it just like sucks people into it and does damage for those characters. It doesn't instantly kill them, but it just like does like repeat damage until the black hole goes away. And then I do have a passive alt. This is one that I've not done a lot with my characters, but I got this idea from a character in Marvel Rivals that I can't think of right now. Maybe it's Scarlet Witch, where if you're about to die, you switch to Clank. Ratchet goes into one of his rifts. You turn into Clank. You get really small, and you can like run away, and like so that you can kind of get your health back, and then turn back into Ratchet, go back into the battle. So that ideally, with a DPS character, you don't want to die. You want to be dealing damage as often as you can. So the hope is that you don't have to die with that character as much. So, and there's so many like opportunities I think with a Ratchet and Clank character. As someone who's really only played 2 of the games in the franchise, I might have picked like the most boring of his guns. Although Groovatron is, I think, objectively the best one. But there's probably so many cool things that could be done with Ratchet and Clank guns. But my 4th pick's going to Ratchet.
I love that. I love what you did with Clank, that you switch off. I love that you said that Ratchet goes through one of his little riffs. That was just, that was the chef's kiss.
Rips apart, baby.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Okay.
Picks 4 and 5 for Maury coming up.
Yeah. I'm on my 4th pick. I was going to save this for last, but because of what Cayman chose for his 4th pick, it feels fitting that I would mention it now. Ladies and gentlemen, and NBs, I will be taking, for my 4th pick, Father Gascoigne from Bloodborne.
There you go.
Nice. Now, very nice. Very nice.
So this is what's so cool. Cayman, I was really going in between just doing the standard Hunter on the front cover or going with Father Gascoigne. And I decided to go with Father Gascoigne because my ideas were not nearly as inspired as yours for the default character. So I had to choose a boss because I have no heart and I have no soul. For my primary fire, obviously, Gascoigne has the Hunter Axe. So it's going to be a Hunter Axe swing. But the Hunter Axe also transforms. So essentially, your standard slot for the weapon is where it's about here. Your axe is right up over your hand. It's that long. And you do a lot of damage up close and personal. But if I extend the axe out and I start to swing it, I get a lot more range, but a little less damage. On top of this, I will have his blunderbuss. Reason being, Quicksilver bullets, lads. Quicksilver bullets, if you've played Bloodborne, don't do damage. But you want to know what they do? They stop big motherfuckers from swinging. And that's what this is going to do. It's going to stop a big motherfucker from swinging. So when you're looking at your melee characters, right, like, again, the gentleman from Medieval, give it to me one more time, Cayman. This is the time I get it.
Daniel Fortescue.
Daniel Fortescue. When you have Daniel Fortescue in your mouth, hit him with a Quicksilver bullet when he's going to swing, right? Do a little bit of big boy damage. So that's actually what my first ability is. It is a parry. And if you perfectly time that parry, not just hit the parry, if you perfectly time it, you get to do that good move from Bloodborne where they fall to your knees and you put your hand through their fucking chest and grab their heart and rip that shit out.
Oh, yeah.
So that's my first ability. My second ability is a blood vial heal. So that in the fight, right, we'll call it a 20-second cooldown. I can just pop a blood vial, keep chugging, keep moving, la-da-da-da-da. For my passive, this is the only character that I give a passive to. I have a swift roll. It feels fitting that I have to bring the roll from Bloodborne into this game. So my passive and movement will be a roll. And what is my ultimate? gentlemen, I know you were wondering. It's where Gascoigne turns into a werewolf and absolutely wreaks havoc. My goal is to keep him closer to DPS than to a tank. That right there. Yep.
Yeah, there it is.
He's not going to gain a ton of health, but he is going to do a shit ton of damage. My goal is to keep him in that DPS role. So that's what I'm going to do with Father Gascoigne, maybe my favorite boss of all time.
I think it's an inspired pick.
I love it.
I think one thing that we are missing as a whole is villainous characters.
Yes.
So far, we're doing a lot of heroes. Because really the only other character that even like has shades of villain is Abby on any of our lists.
Yeah. No, for sure.
My final pick of the draft is the villain. So there will be redemption.
Hell yeah.
Wow.
All right, Maury, starting us off with round 5 to follow up Father Gascoigne. Who do we got?
For round 5, I'm going to be taking, in honor of something we talked about this evening, Deacon St. John.
Yo.
Hell yeah.
Let's go.
I'm taking Deacon St. John. For Deacon St. John's primary fire, he's going to be using his AUG. I remember his AUG. That shit ripped through zombies, and I loved it, and it was the only weapon I used religiously. So that's going to be his primary fire. You'll notice I have a lot of people with guns on my team.
Sure. And it is a shooter, a hero shooter.
It is. And for ability number 1, we have Boozman's Molotov.
Yeah.
Right? We're going to take a little Molotov. We're going to light that puppy, and we're just going to block off anybody from walking where we don't want them walking, right?
God, the Boozman mentioned.
Yeah, earlier when you said it, I was like, damn, I got to rename my Molotov ability. Boozman's Molotov. Kind of like what Cayman was saying. It's great for a choke point. It's great for a bottleneck. Everybody's running through there. Cool. You're all cooking now. You're cooked chicken. Barbecue chicken, baby. And for my second ability, I'm calling it Home Run. And it's where I take that bat and I just whack you hard as hell upside the head. I mean, as hard as feasibly possible. So that's going to be my second ability. And for my ultimate, I give you Horde Fuck.
Ooh.
Horde Fuck is where Deacon St. John proceeds to get on his motorcycle, vroom, 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 and you dash through the map, pulling a giant horde of zombies behind you, trampling absolutely everything in its path. The one disadvantage is that the zombies are never ending. That's what I remember about those hordes. They were really long. So you can't turn back into your horde. Your ultimate will end right then and there. And I'm thinking a 5-second ability. It's a little bit busted for it to go on any longer.
Sure.
So for my 5th pick, I choose Deacon St. John of Days Gone. I love you, Ben Studio.
You know what is kind of shocking to me as watching that B-roll? That there hasn't been another studio that has tried to emulate the horde mechanic.
Dude,
from that game. Like, you know, you think of like your Arkham, or not Arkham, sorry, the Lord of the Rings game, Mordor, Shadows of Mordor, with the reputation system. Like, you think of these things that like a game introduces as like a cool thing that we've just not seen before because games weren't smart enough to be able to do the thing. And now that a system can actually support having that many like hive-minded enemies, why are we getting more hordes?
Yeah.
Space Marine 2. I would say is probably the closest that we have to that.
Yeah. Okay. That's a great shout, Cayman.
There's also the World War Z game, but that's a very different vibe. Okay. You know, but so I mean, it's more of like a Left 4 Dead kind of thing. But I think Space Marine 2 meets that category.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
Well, for my 5th pick, I'm doing another tank, and I just feel like you can't have a PlayStation branded anything these days without the true mascot of PlayStation, which is Knack. I think Knack, specifically from Knack 2, is going to be my 5th hero. And so this is primary fire is going to be melee. He's going to, you know, those big hulking hands. He starts in his like medium size character, I think, to start with. Every time you get a kill, you're collecting those crystals. Also, shout out to Jake Twitchen for helping me build this character because I've never played a fucking Knack game in my life. I called him up, was like, I need your help. I don't know anything about Knack, but I got to put Knack on my team. His first power. So he told me, he suggested that it could almost be like a Sora type character in Smash, where you can switch between like elements essentially. So you'll toggle the 3 elements being iron/electricity, ice, and then wood/fire. So depending on what those are, your first power is the elemental power. So whatever you're on, whether it's wood, iron, or ice, you do that kind of like a slam attack or whatever. Power 2 is stealth knack. So similar to what I just did with Ratchet and Clank, Knack goes invisible. Maybe I've been tanking, but I'm about out of health. Let me go invisible. Let me rebuild a little bit of my health there. And then Knack's ult obviously is Big Knack. You get enough crystals that you just get the size of a fucking building and you're just stomping on people. You're Godzilla just swinging that big fucking fist and that big tail, except you're Knack. And like maybe there could be a fun little thing where we get some Mark Cerny VO to talk about all the triangles in the game. Anytime you get to a certain level of crystals, I don't know, but Knack is my 5th character on my team. Sorry guys, you had 5 rounds to choose Knack and you didn't take him.
God, you really stole my last pick there.
God, that was a close one, Patrick. That's a close one.
I figured if anybody might have chosen Knack, it was Cayman, but I expected Cayman wouldn't even choose Knack.
Sure.
You know what? I didn't even think about Knack, but that's a good call. That would be some stupid shit I do.
Yeah. All right, Cayman, your final pick, right?
No, this will be pick number 5, and then we got number 6.
Right, 5 and then 6. You're right.
Let me tell you guys, and don't worry. I've got, if we're feeling feisty, still got 2 more in the wings that no one's picked yet, and maybe a third if you guys want to get a little frisky over here.
We can do some auto
So we're gonna go with Iota and Atoy from Tearaway Unfolded.
Whoa. Hell yeah.
Those are the 2 main characters you can play as. So my thought process was it's going to be like a reskin. You could pick one or the other. The skills remain the same. So it's just a physical change. You have, I think the best way to say it, a villager from Mario Kart. Think that. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Main attack is envelopes. They're just essentially be throwing envelopes like ninja stars. Just like fucking firing them away.
Yeah.
Secondary attack is called the confetti bazooka. You have a card. Essentially, it's a cardboard shotgun that's going to shoot confetti bullets. And so it's more of like a close range. This whole character is going to be mid range. The cooldown move is called paper ball. You roll up into a ball, increasing your movement speed by 50%, and you do damage to any enemies you run into. Amazing. So essentially, it's one of the combat moves in the game. Is you roll up into a little paper ball. Essentially, you turn yourself into a pinball. The passive movement. This is gonna be a movement skill called Papercraft Pig. You saw, if you're watching, you saw the pig pop up on screen. Yep. You're going to jump onto a cardboard pig and start running. Your movement speed increases significantly, but you can't do any damage while riding your Papercraft Pig. And then its ultimate move is called Craft Time, where you pull out a giant pair of scissors and you start cutting with them. The trick here is that this is like a rampage move where it'll pull you in a direction. You essentially just have to steer where you're going as your character is like essentially clock towering its way through all of your enemies. So that's gonna be pick number 5 for me.
Yeah.
I know it's I kind of feel like I should have like snuck that in earlier because I'm not as big on it. But let me tell you guys.
But so if I can quickly chime in, Cayman. Tearaway, criminally underplayed game. Watching that trailer brought back so many joyous memories on the PlayStation Vita. Sticking my finger through the paper, grabbing little obstacles to move around so I could jump with my little character. Tearaway so ahead of its time from the one Media Molecule.
Right, such a fun game. But look, the truth here is we were all waiting for pick number 6.
We were.
Guys,
I've been waiting.
Historically, Patrick can back me up on this. During our fantasy football leagues, I'm the king of picking a late round draft pick that no one knows that turns out to be the star player of the year. This year, Ladd McConkey.
This is true.
Absolutely fucking tore it up. I've done it
at
with
least 3 times. He's done this.
Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Jahmyr Gibbs. I've run buckshot with some of these late round picks. So let me tell you, I am picking with the number 6 draft pick, Ethan Mars from Heavy Rain.
No, Jason.
Our main attack with Mr. Ethan Mars is the sacred symbols. You throw sacred symbols like baseballs. You're just throwing X's and squares and triangles, just fucking whizzing them at your opponent. 100-mile-an-hour, okay?
I can't believe I don't have Heavy Rain B-roll. What was I thinking?
The secondary attack is what we like to call tripping fists. It's a close range attack where you essentially fall over while throwing a punch like you fucked up a QTE. It's good for when you need to get up close and personal, because you need to be up close and personal for his cooldown move called Daddy, I'm an Airplane, where Jason will jump on your shoulders and he'll scoot around like an airplane and you just run through everyone. During that time, you're going to deal out 50% more damage and take 50% less damage while that little bastard rides on your shoulder blades. Next up is our passive movement ability, which is actually very fitting that is a combo for the 6th draft pick. He's versatile. This move's called QTE Invincibility.
Question mark?
The player is given a 3-button prompt, which, if input correctly, gives themselves a 15-second invincibility boost. However, if the player fails the QTE, the player will slip on a banana peel, fall on the ground, and lose 25% speed boost for the same duration.
Wow.
Okay, so you're saying, wow, Cayman, why the fuck would I play as fucking Ethan? This is the worst character you've created so far. To which I say, this is actually the most OP. Are you ready? The last move is called, his ultimate move is just called Jason, in which Ethan will let out a monstrous Jason, which causes all enemy players in a 30-meter radius to have to solve a QTE prompt.
This is awesome. This is so awesome.
Wait, it gets better. The number of buttons that you have to guess correctly or get correctly in the prompt increases by the amount of times you failed the QTE invincibility boost.
Oh,
so you can either be invincible and tank, or you can be brutally fucking slow just so you can fucking basically you just can stall out the entire prompt for these people, and they can't fucking move, letting your team destroy them.
High Score Weekly makes a great point in the chat. This kit would actually be the meta. Like, yes, Jason would be the character that everyone wants to be, or Ethan Mars to
Ethan Mars.
Yeah.
Ethan Mars coming in as the sleeper pick in round number 6, baby.
He will be your keeper in next year's draft.
Oh my god,
Maury, did you have a question at some point or a comment?
I just have to say it's the most inspired pick of the draft, Patrick. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah.
It's a masterpiece.
It's really good. I did save what I think is my most fun for last, but it's not anywhere close to that. I really wanted my final pick to be the Sound Shapes Blob as a little Podcast Beyond joke from fucking 15 years ago. But I was like, they've made that joke. I'm not going to just recycle a 15-year-old joke. So instead, I went into my bank of ideas and thought, let's get a little weird with it. Let's do some characters that maybe people aren't expecting. So my final pick of the draft is another duo of characters. And some characters from this franchise have already been chosen. In fact, so my final characters are Brock and Sindri from God of War.
I love that.
I think they're DPS, but I'm interested to hear what you guys think. So
yeah.
My original thought was, since they make all of Kratos's weapons, like, why can't they just use them? Because they're the ones that made them. But then I was like, I just don't know enough about how duo characters work in hero shooters. Like, are they both present the whole time? Do you switch between one to the other? Unclear. So in this idea, their primary fire, whichever one you're controlling, I think you can just switch between them is probably the easiest way to do it. Their smithing hammer. It's a melee, whatever their dwarven hammer is their primary fire.
Yeah.
If you are Brock, your power one is Brock's Forge. What Brock's Forge does is he levels up the output of your weapons. So the longer you stay alive, the longer you can trigger that power, the more damage that your hammer does. He does some forging on his own hammer, and then he gets more powerful. And then I was thinking, like, maybe if each of them get 2 powers, technically, because you're switching between them, maybe like his second power has something to do with dropping her spear. Maybe he gets to just use it. Maybe he gets to use the Leviathan. Unclear. I only gave them each 1 power because now I'm realizing, I guess technically they should both have 2 powers. And then Sindri, his is Sindri's magic bag. So you might remember from the games, sometimes he would like reach into this bag and just like pull out a random thing.
Yeah.
So the idea is it's kind of a randomized item. It could be like a bomb. It could be a health pack. It could be whatever an upgrade is in this game. Whatever it is, it's like, I'm just going to reach into Sindri's magic bag and pull out something that will help somebody on my team. Their passive is using dwarf magic to teleport around the map. If they want to go to like the other side of the map, they just open up their little realm between realms portal and do that. And then in that same vein, their ult is the realm between realms. They open up, or it wouldn't necessarily make sense to work like Jeff the Shark. They just, with the character that they're closest to, they grab them, take them into the realm between realms, throw them off the ledge, and they die. It's an instant kill ult for Brock and Sindri. So that's my final character of my team, the duo that is Brock and Sindri.
Inspired. I mean, yet again. I mean, and if I may, just an idea for their second abilities.
Yeah.
You could totally have one of them giving out buffs to people's damage because they make weapons, and you could have the other one giving out buffs to people's armor since they make the armor.
Yo, that's it.
Dude, like, phenomenal pick. I would have never thought of Brock and Sindri. That's amazing.
I'm a visionary. What can I say?
God.
All right, you're the final pick, and then we're going to recap who we all picked, and then we're going to do a poll. So stick around in the chat because you're going to get to decide which of us is the winner.
So I feel like I've been totally shafted. I have to follow up Ethan Mars and Brock and Sindri, but I think I have something that's somewhat decent to close out this draft. For my 6th and final pick, I choose the boy and Trico from The Last Guardian. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a little duo of their own. Much like Brock and Sindri, much like Ratchet and Clank, the boy and Trico belong together. My primary fire is essentially going to be the boy up on top of Trico, holding the shield and pointing it in the direction of whatever enemy he wants Trico to attack. Trico is just doing a standard stomp, standard swing, nothing too exciting. But my first ability is the Trico tweak out. So whenever Trico really loses his shit, when there's just too many people and he's overstimulated as fuck, I've had a couple Trico tweak outs in my life, and he just starts jumping up and down, just stomping on motherfuckers. So that's going to be my first ability. And there's a reason why there's only one ability for Trico. But we'll get to that in a second. My ultimate ability is the tail shot. If you remember from the game, Trico's tail can fire electricity, and at that, a lot of it. You both have played Marvel Rivals, so this will translate well. Think about Iron Man's ult, right? Maximum pulse. That's what this is. Trico whips his tail around and shoots lightning at the ground, and it has an area of effect, and it kills everything within that little bubble. And so that's going to be my ultimate. But the reason why Trico only has one ability is because Trico can actually get too overstimulated to stay in the fight. If you do enough damage to Trico, you can make Trico run away, and you slip off as the boy, and now it's just you in a big wide world and not a lot of hope to defend yourself. The boy is able to throw little objects. This is something he can actually do within the game, right? He can grab a little pot or a pan or a barrel, and he can throw it at somebody. It's not going to do a ton of damage, but it might be enough to keep you around. Think about Trico and the boy kind of like D.Va from Overwatch, right? There's two forms, and when you're out of your big form, your chunky form, you're a squishy. You're in a bad spot. But the other ability that the boy has, which I think is very exciting, is that in the game, if Trico knocks over an enemy, the boy can go up to the enemy, grab the enemy's head, and tear it the fuck off. Yeah. And that's what we're going to do. If Trico on his way out hits somebody with his tail and they're on the ground, you can run over there, grab the head, and rip it off. Essentially, after enough time has passed, after you've done enough damage as the boy, after you've lived long enough, Trico will return to you. You will climb back up the side of him just like you did in the game, hopefully a little faster because that took forever in the game. And that is my 6th and final pick.
Hell yeah. Maury, why don't you run us through your picks? I'm going to drop all of our teams in the chat. And then once we all go through our picks, I'll launch the poll.
Of course. I led today. Oh yeah.
While we're getting our pollers putting in their votes, I'll run through some bonus draft.
Ooh, picks. Yeah.
Oh, come on. Yes.
So Maury, start us off with your team as a recap.
Of course. So my first pick was Kratos with the Leviathan Axe Swing, Leviathan Axe Throw, the Blades of Chaos Spiral, and the ultimate being Spartan Rage. My second pick, if I'm not mistaken, was Higgs Monaghan, whose primary fire is an AR. His first ability is a teleportation. His second is Chiralium Latch, and his ultimate is Don't Breathe. My third pick was none other than Sam Porter Bridges with a primary fire of an assault rifle. His first ability, thumbing people up, giving them heals, a zip line for his second ability, and his ultimate, Repatriation. My fourth pick was none other than Father Gascoigne. Primary fire is the Hunter Axe Swing and the Quicksilver Bullets, as well as the weapon transformation. First ability is where you parry and rip someone's heart out. The second ability is a Blood Vial Heal. The third is your passive, your movement, Swift Roll, and your ultimate is where you turn into a werewolf. My fifth pick was Deacon St. John, whose primary fire is the AUG. The first ability being Booze Man's Molotov. The second one being Home Run, and the ultimate ability being Horde Fuck. And the final, The Boy and Trico. Primary fire is where you point the shield. First ability is Trico Tweak Out. The ultimate is Tail Shot. And of course, the boy ripping people's heads off.
Let's go. My team, Astrobot was my first pick and it acted a little bit like the Pokemon trainer in Smash. Can kind of jump between, instead of jumping between different Pokemon to play, you can jump between different Astrobots to play. So I pitched a Joel Astrobot, a Kratos Astrobot, and an Aloy Astrobot. And then its ult is the DualSense coming in and just fucking shit up with that DualSense shield or ship. I mean, second one was Fetch from Infamous First Light, a neon-based set of powers, a power kit. The ultimate being Singularity. Everyone in the area, in that immediate area, all of the objects, all the characters, pulling them together into this ball. You explode it with neon powers, and it does like a set amount of damage to each of them. Might kill them, might not. My third was Abby from The Last of Us. The ultimate being the back nine. She pulls out a golf club. You know what happens. Ratchet and Clank. The ultimate being the black hole something I called it. I forget what I called it, but similar to Singularity, shooting a black hole into the middle of the map, drawing everything in and just doing instead of it being like an explode area of effect, it just does continuous damage if you're stuck in the gravity of the black hole. My fifth was Knack. Ultimate is Knack gets big and just stomps on people. It's a big fucking Godzilla Knack. And then my final was Brock and Sindri, with the ult being grabbing a character or characters, taking them into the realm between realms, tossing them off that ledge that everyone that played God of War jumped off that ledge at some point to see what happened. And you died if you did it. So they kill people that way. So those are my six. Cayman, which were yours?
I started off with the first draft pick being Nathan Drake from Uncharted, who is a long distance range with an AK-47 and a pistol. It also throws grenades around. Passive, a lot of movement tech with a grappling hook. And then the ultimate, solely special, is Calling in Sir Sullivan, who will burst onto the scene in a military jeep, running over all of the opponents in front of you. Next up is Daniel Fortescue from Medieval, who is a melee attacker with a broadsword and then can do some range with a crossbow. A cooldown move is the Cyclone Swing, which is an AoE spin attack. Passive movement tech is going to be the Dan Hand, where he takes his severed head and puts it on a severed hand, and then can skitter around the map at a quick pace, but cannot do any damage during the movement. The ultimate is Giant Body, where he does similar to Dan Hand, but puts his head on a giant's monster body and then goes Hulk rampaging through. Next up is going to be, I think it was Sly Cooper with pick number 3. Sly Cooper is going to attack with a cane, has bombs that he can have distance range with. If he charges them for longer, can throw them farther. The next is the cooldown move, which is his dive kick, leaps in the air, dive kicks down, AoE damage. Passive can go invisible, but has reduced speed, becomes visible again once attacking for the first time. And then the ultimate is the Cooper Gang, in which everybody from the Cooper Gang shows up. It's like a support move, basically primes up like a complete ass whooping if you're playing correctly. I want to say the next was the Slayer of Demons with pick number 4. Another one plays very similar to Daniel Fortescue, except he has fire bombs for an AoE for the cooldown. And then the cool move that he has is his passive, which is Hollow, where he revives the first time he dies and comes back with half health, but takes 1.5 damage. And then the ultimate move, he drops a giant "you died" on any motherfucker unlucky enough to play a Souls game. Insta kill. Then we went with number 5, which was Iota and a toy from Tearaway. You shoot out envelopes. You got a confetti bazooka that works like a shotgun. Cooldown move is basically turn yourself into a paper pinball. You ride a giant paper pig for your passive movement tech, but you can't do any damage during it. And then the ultimate is craft time, where you'll get pulled along and you just chomp scissors away for like 5 to 10 seconds. Anything in your path gets sliced and diced. And then I think with the sleeper pick, we drafted God.
Yes.
Ethan Mars.
Yeah.
He throws sacred symbols for his main attack. He trips over his own 2 feet and punches you square in the goddamn temple with his secondary attack called Tripping Fist. His cooldown move, Daddy, I'm an Airplane. Jason jumps on his shoulders, and then you just run around doing damage and taking less damage each enemy you hit. The passive ability is the QTE Invincibility. That a player is given a 3-button prompt. If they correctly put the prompt in, you get a 20-second speed boost, which increases your movement speed by 25%. If you fail, or no, sorry, you get invincibility. Why I mistypoed this. You get invincibility for, I think it's like 15 seconds. However, if you fail, your character slips on a banana peel and then loses 15% movement speed, making you even more sluggish than before. However, if you do it right, you have your ultimate move, Jason, where Ethan lets loose some monsters. Jason! And any players within 30 meter radius have to solve a QTE prompt, increases number of buttons in the prompt by the number of times Ethan has failed his passive ability, the QTE Invincibility check. God damn, that took way too long to go through.
Hey, that's okay. The poll is live, so I don't know how much time is left. Probably like 35, 40 seconds, something like that. So get the votes in, folks. I am not voting because I am a just ruler, but I could.
All right.
I'm not voting either.
You guys go. Are you ready? We're gonna roll through the couple next ones. Serious pick Dante from Devil May Cry.
Oh, sure.
Originally launched on the PlayStation. Main attack Ebony and Ivory pistols. Secondary attack the Rebellion sword. Cooldown move is Jam Session. Dante rapidly produces bats into a small twister that surround him while he rocks out on his guitar. That is a move in the game. The passive movement is a double jump with air dash. that gives you some flexibility to kind of skip around the screen. Ultimate is the devil trigger, changes to his demonic form for 15 seconds, gains a power buff, defense buff, and regenerates up to 50% health during his devil trigger. Fat Princess, but just replace all the moves are Jeff the Shark, just replace the water with cake, and she doesn't go underground, she just rolls around on her gut. But literally just wrote Fat Princess the game. Blast up Leon S. Kennedy from Resident Evil 2. Main attack is a pistol. Secondary attack, knife, roundhouse kick. Okay, knife, roundhouse kick. Cooldown move is called Hey Leon, where Leon gets a rocket launcher thrown at him from off screen. Yeah. It's Ada. He catches, and you get one shot with a rocket launcher. And you hear Ada yell, "Hey Leon," when you do the move, which is
amazing.
Passive is going to be called Green Herb. Once per life, you can heal up to 50%, and anyone within a 5-meter radius also gets a 50% heal. So he works kind of as a healer. Ultimate is called Stars. Patrick, you're going to love this one. Claire comes into the fray with her motorcycle, and she will slide her motorcycle across the screen, taking out anyone in front of you, while Chris comes on screen and then punches a boulder, which does a giant AoE blast.
Amazing.
So, wow. You get a boulder punch.
Well, it was a runaway success with 100% of the votes. The Dumpster Boy built the best team. Now, did we only get one vote? Yes,
we did.
At one point, like as we were going through, there was like 16 viewers, and I guess they didn't like that we were recapping it. We lost like 10 people as we were recapping. So, but hey, 100% of the vote went to Cayman. So high score.
I'll take it. Thanks for voting. Get right now.
Hilarious. Only time this year my vote mattered. LOL. Shoot me.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, what I think. A screaming success with the PlayStation Hero Shooter Draft. I think if PlayStation makes this game, we got a banger on our hands, folks. I might even say it would get at least an 80 on OpenCritic.
Wow.
Well, it's a hero shooter. It's not going to be better than that. Right?
It's so fucking stupid that we just wrote a game, boys, that I think would be 10 times more successful than Concord.
Yes.
And would cost probably a quarter of what it cost to make Concord.
I'm sure.
It's true.
I'm certain.
It's true.
It's a great idea.
Weekly in the chat says Cayman has the best overall moves, but I love the Trico and Brock/Sindri picks as well. Hey, we thanks for spreading the love.
Yeah.
I would have, if I was voting, I would have voted for Cayman's team too.
I would have as well.
It was very, very good.
You can't not pick Jason.
Yeah, you can't not pick Jason. And also the
somewhere. I don't know.
I think low key the sleeper of the draft was actually the Demon Slayer from Demon Slayer.
It was.
That was such a cool design, especially the hollow bit was very, very good. Let's close out the show with a quick little spotlight of this week's news. ESRB ratings suggest that the best Resident Evil game is getting a re-release on PS5 and Xbox Series. Anyone have a guess for which Resident Evil I'm talking about?
Resident Evil 6.
That's exactly right. Resident Evil 6. A video game analyst has claimed that there is apparently, quote, hope in the industry that GTA 6 could cost up to $100 so that other companies could raise their default prices as well amid global inflation and swelling AAA development costs. I wouldn't call that hopeful, but as a consumer, but hey, you're the analyst, I guess. Astrobot may be getting more speedrunning levels, even though they claimed that they were done after their initial first wave. I guess they showed off a new one at some like tournament somewhere. So we might be getting more of those. Ahead of Nintendo's April 2nd Switch 2 Direct, it's claimed we're getting another Direct next year focused on just Switch 1 games. So that could be fun. I hope that's true. A third-party publisher, speaking of the Switch, claims that the Switch 2 is coming between April and September. So a little follow-up to our emergency pod, which if you haven't listened, go listen to that from last week. And then finally, if Rabbit is still in the chat, this one's just for you, Rabbit. Team Cherry has broken their silence about Hollow Knight Silksong. Their PR manager on Twitter, I think it was, responded to someone who was basically just like, just please say that the game is still real and that you guys are working on it. And the PR manager responded, quote, yes, it's real, progressing, and will release.
A miracle. Wow.
We have confirmation that Hollow Knight Silk Song is not dead from the studio. Does that mean we're going to see it this year? I don't know.
There's one more news story that I think we all missed out on. This one's also for John. And that is the team behind Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2 announced that the game was apparently a runaway success and that they're looking to expand the 40K universe into additional games.
Very cool.
Like not that there's not like tactical games already, but like apparently doing more genres that are outside of tactical because of how popular the Space Marine 2 was. So
that's awesome.
I love that.
Graphic what's the novel games? What do we call those? The fucking virtual novel? No, what is it? No, but I mean, there we go. No, there's a name for this kind of visual novel.
Yes,
visual novel. Yes,
would have worked if I could fucking remember what it's called, but whatever. All right, well, that's our show, y'all. I thought, what a great episode 150. Can I just say?
Runaway success.
Toot the horn. Runaway success. Also, yeah, what a fun time. Thanks for everybody in the chat. A special shout out to High Score Weekly for the support, for the 5 gifted subs on this special episode 150. We will be back next week. What are we going to talk about? Who knows? But be here 8 p.m. Eastern time right here on twitch.tv/SpotlightGamesPod. But before we go, thank you very much to our special guest, GWT Maury, for being here. Maury, where can the folks at home find you if they want to follow you?
Of course. Thank you guys for having me. You guys can find me everywhere on the internet at GWT Maury. That's Twitch, sadly, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all the places that are owned by alt-right fucking lunatics. I'll be there. So come say what's up.
Hell yeah. And Cayman, how about you?
So I finally started a Blue Sky account. So I don't think I've posted anything on there, but you can find me at the Dumpster Boy on Blue Sky. I think you just type that in the search bar. I don't really know how it works. Still figuring it out. But like I do every episode, if you were here at the very beginning and heard me talk about a bunch of dumpster dives, well, guess what? If you go to our Discord, you'll see me posting about them literally weekly, I think, at this point. I'm about to actually drop a pretty significant list in that same Discord with a list that is going to be growing over time with more dumpster dives. So if any of these games have intrigued you in the past, there will be a collection of all of those listed there that you can kind of parse through to see if something floats your boat.
Oh, hell yeah, brother. Stick around if you're in the chat. Let's go raid the homie Jake Twitch. And he was in the chat earlier. Let's go show him the love. Give some W's in the chat. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We will be back next Tuesday right here, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, twitch.tv. You can follow me at Peachwissy, but more importantly, you can follow the pod at Spotlight Games Pod. So let's go show some sweet, nasty love to the one JT, Jake Twitch, and the dirty dog himself. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.